Hi everyone, we hope that you're enjoying our Lent series so far, looking through the book of John. So this week we've been looking through the story of Lazarus, and the story of Lazarus was one that was life-altering, life-changing, not just for Lazarus because he was raised from the dead, but also for his sisters and also for those who witnessed this amazing miracle, this really major miracle, being raised from the dead. And, I personally haven't experienced anything like that, but the things that God's done for me have been amazing too. And I just want to share one thing that God's done for me that has been life-changing and life-altering, like the story of Lazarus. So when I was doing the first year of my A-levels at the age of 17, I didn't do really well in my first year of A-levels. I failed my A-levels, and I remember getting a phone call from my sixth form from my school, and them saying that we can't have you back at our school. You need to find another school because you haven't got the grades, and we have no place here for you. And I remember getting that phone call and being so crushed and so disappointed that my school wasn't going to give me another chance to do better. Now, I remember really, studying really hard for these exams and thinking that these were the subjects that I wanted to do. And this is, the thing that I wanted to study after my A-levels. And I had this whole plan set up of what my life was going to be like over the next couple of years. And all of it just came crushing down at that point when I received that phone call. At that point, I had no school to go to, I had no A-levels, and I just didn't know what to do. And I just remembered shutting myself in my room and crying to God and saying, Lord, I'm really sorry. At that point, I realized that the reason why I failed was because although I worked really hard, I never put God first. And although I was a Christian for some time back then, I still didn't realize that I had to put God first no matter what. And I put my plans and my desires before him, and I never really asked God whether, the plan I have for my life, whether that was something that he wanted for me. And I remember just crying out and saying, God, I'm really sorry for letting you down. I'm so sorry for never asking you what you wanted me to do. I'm so sorry for not seeking your will, but seeking my own desires and wishes. And at that point, I just committed everything into God's hands. And I said, God, from now on, I just want you to lead me every step of the way, every step from the smallest to the biggest. And that commitment, that me saying, I commit everything into your hands, was the life-altering point for me. Because from that point, God just directed me in every single way possible in my studies, in what I was going to do after college, after sixth form, in my relationships, my friendships, in, my time at university. God was just directing me constantly. And when I look back now, everything that's happened from that point onwards has been according to God's will and not my will, because my will was completely different to what I have gone through and what I've done. And so when I prayed that, I remember just applying to different schools, and I got a place at Wren Academy in North Finchley to do my A-levels again. And that was the best thing ever. That school was just the best place for me to be in at that point, for my educational growth and also for my spiritual growth. And I made some amazing friends there who I still journey with now and who are so close to me, and we, share the same faith and we encourage each other. And I'm so glad that God put me in that school at that time. And it was during that time at school when my relationship with God became a lot more stronger and, better. And he directed what I should do from that point onwards. And that, for me, that moment when I fell to my knees and prayed, God, I am sorry for not putting you first, but from this point onwards, I commit everything into your hands. That point was the life-changing point for me. And I'm so glad I said that because, God's plans are not my plans, but God's plans are greater than what I can ever imagine. And I thank God for everything that he's done for me and through me from that time onwards. And I can tell you that when you submit your life to Christ and when you say those words like, God, take control, they are life-changing words. And it just encourages you to know that God is watching over you, God will direct you, and God will always be there by your side. All we need to do is just ask. And I'm so glad I did, because that was a big moment for me. Like it was, for Lazarus when he woke up from the dead. That was a huge moment for him. And for me, committing my life into Christ's hand and saying, you take control, was a big moment for me. And I hope you're encouraged by that. And just be reminded that Christ is willing to work in our lives as long as we give our lives to him and, obey him. And just remember that he has greater plans for us than we can ever imagine or comprehend.